Welcome to Local Edition. I'm Bella Shaw. Hydraulic fracking has been around for decades, but it seems only recently we're hearing about the environmental impact fracking could have. California Senator Fran Pavley joins us, and she's authoring a bill that would regulate fracking.
I am, and it's because, as you said, we're starting to pay attention to it, and it's a couple of things have happened to make this so relevant today. Number one, it's been recently discovered that we have potentially 15.5 billion with a B, barrels of oil below what we call within our Monterey Shale formation. Now, if we can just get to it, and the oil companies have come up with some new technologies that would allow them to do so, and a lot of it is with not only traditional oil drilling, but horizontal drilling, which can go 2 to 3 miles from where you see the well may be above the ground. And in order to take this large volume of water and increase pressure to develop the fissures to access the oil, they use some interesting ingredients, hundreds of thousands of gallons of water per frac job, chemicals, about 5%, and some of them are carcinogens like benzene and some other ones, and sand, and you pour that down in high volumes and pressurized situations, and hopefully it works. But then you have the issues, and this is why we become concerned about hydraulic fracturing, is that it could pollute the groundwater basin.
Sure.
A lot of California actually relies on groundwater for their primary source of water, and it would affect agricultural communities as well as urban communities. So it's water quality. I chair the water committee for California, and I'm concerned about water supply. Are we using fresh potable water that could be used for drinking in order for fracking? And what do we do with the waste fluids? Once you frack a well, and you may do it 2 or 3 times, where does that go? How is it stored? Can it be successfully stored?
Are there any regulations? There
are very little regulations. The only regulation right now that California has involves the integrity of the well, cement encased. That's not enough. So I have a bill that will have the Division of Oil and Gas and Geothermal Recovery, we call it DOGGR as an acronym, in the Department of Conservation, work with our state water boards and air boards to make sure that our water supply and our air supply is not contaminated.
It's hard to get an answer, isn't it? When you ask these companies, are you fracking? What do they say?
They will say they've been fracking for decades and it's safe. The only problem is 2 years ago I wrote a letter to DOGGR and asked them, well, where are the wells that you're fracking? Because they regulate just traditional oil wells. They said they don't know. I asked what chemicals are you using. They don't keep a record of that either. What happens to the waste fluid? How is that stored? We don't know. There are no regulations that require us to trace the waste fluids. So these, to me, are basic common sense things that we need to do. Public is concerned because the unintended consequences of accessing oil could be polluting our water supply.
And also, Senator Pavley, it's been a big topic, even in screenplays. We've had a couple of movies, Promised Land with Matt Damon, and what was the other one?
2 smaller productions, but Gasland and
Gasland.
More. Recently, there's Gasland 2, the sequel.
Oh.
Who would have known, and a lot of that is about natural gas, but here in California, or especially with the Monterey Shale formation, we're primarily talking about petroleum. We're talking about oil. It's really a gold rush out there, and in counties like Ventura County, the oil companies are going to large property owners and offering them a deal they can't refuse.
Senator, so good to see you. Thanks for joining us here on Local Edition. I'm Bella Shaw.